In this video, we will show you how to very easily change the shifter on a manual Enviolo or NuVinci hub. And with that, welcome back to the EBIKE24 YouTube channel. Before we get to work, I want to start with a quick rundown of the different types of twist shifters from Enviolo. And also a little spoiler up front. If you've already been using your bike for a while, you probably won't get away without getting your hands a bit dirty. When choosing the right Enviolo twist shifter, you currently have a choice of 4 different versions. The first choice you need to make is whether you want the version with this small gear indicator, which shows you if you're in a lower or higher gear, or whether you prefer the simple version without a gear indicator. This is completely up to you. It's simply a matter of taste or personal preference as to what you prefer. The second decision you have to make is whether you want the Pure or Pro twist shifter. The difference is hardly noticeable from the outside. They look identical on the outside. But inside, the cable stops in the Pro version are made of metal, while in the Pure version, they are made of plastic. The plastic version is therefore more prone to defects and might break more easily. That's why my recommendation is to go for the Pro version, so you only have to change it once and you'll be set for a long time. Then you can also choose whether to use a gear cable with a length of 2,200 mm or alternatively 3,300 mm. Again, this is completely up to you. Usually the shorter version is sufficient, but I recommend taking the longer version and just cutting off a little more at the end. And so, even with electric bikes that might have a slightly longer rear frame, like this longtail bike, you will always have enough gear cable to route everything properly. The Enviolo twist shifters are of course compatible with all manual Enviolo hubs, but also with the slightly older NuVinci hubs, where the twist grips are currently very rare or very difficult to obtain. So even if you have a NuVinci hub, you can use one of these sleek new Enviolo twist shifters. You can retrofit this exactly as shown in the video here, so let us now take a look at how to convert the whole thing and replace the twist grip. As a first step, of course, it's important to prepare your e-bike. Remove the chain guard and other mud guards that might get in the way during work, detach the old gear cables from the hub, loosen the grips, and then, of course, remove the old twist grip and set it aside. When you carefully remove the old twist grip shifter, you can keep the end pieces. However, you can also take the opportunity to renew them. These 2 small end caps are also available as replacement parts. So yeah, you can either keep them or order new ones because you'll definitely need them again for installation. Once you are completely done with the previous steps, you can already carefully slide the new twist shifter onto the handlebar and then simply thread the cables through the existing cable housings so that they come out at the end and fit snugly into the twist shifter, ensuring everything is properly aligned and secure. Here, of course, pay attention and ensure that the position of the twist grip shifter is roughly how it should be when it's finally installed on your bicycle. Now, perhaps the biggest hurdle is getting the cable to the right length. Fortunately, there's a very handy cable gauge from Enviolo for that, which allows us to measure the correct length in advance before we start the installation process. To use the gauge effectively, completely insert the gear shift housings into the twist grip shifter. Rotate the twist grip shifter fully towards you, into the highest gear. One can say, like on a motorcycle, to go full throttle. So with Enviolo, we always work in full throttle mode, in virtually all situations. Therefore, turn the twist grip shifter all the way back. You will then have 2 shift cables at the bottom of the rear triangle, one longer and one shorter. And we first take the slightly longer gear cable, place it in the gear cable gauge at the top, take the gear cable housing and insert it fully into the corresponding stop on the gear cable gauge, and then put the small end cap onto the gear cable and place it into the corresponding fixture as well. In that case, always take the second device, the one further to the left. That is essentially the correct length for your gear system. Now we can simply tighten everything back up with the Allen key. Keep the gear cable slightly taut while doing so. You don't need to pull completely tight, just loosely taut, so that it sits well in the fixture, and then tighten the whole thing securely. Now take the slightly shorter cable, place it in the cable holder at the bottom of the gauge in the same way. Also insert the slightly differently shaped or specially shaped end cap here, thread the cable through here, place it in the corresponding shape of the holder, and tighten it again so that nothing moves or wobbles around anymore. Now we need to shorten the gear cables. On the special end cap, there is a small recess or a small notch that indicates where the gear cable should be cut. That is exactly what we are going to do, because when we do that, we can place the gear cable perfectly into the opening or notch underneath. For the second end cap, we can simply cut it as close to the end of the cap as possible, and now we are practically perfectly prepared to reassemble everything. To do so, we insert the small end cap into the interface first. Make sure that the interface here is once again turned in full throttle mode, so counterclockwise. Place this carefully here, and then we'll take the other end cap and place it on top, securing the whole thing with this little snap mechanism, and now we're pretty much done already. Now we can perform the first functionality test. Turn it a bit to see if it works well. Here is a little tip. Turn the crank while you shift gears. This makes shifting a bit easier, and you will not feel as if you are turning against significant resistance. Lastly, we can adjust the cable tension a bit. Ensure that the adjustment screws can be pulled out around 5 mm. That is approximately an ideal setting. Enviolo recommends that the twist shifter should ideally be operated with 2 fingers. Sometimes it is a bit of an unrealistic goal. If the shifting heights are very long, if the route is very long, or if there are many bends, especially in internally routed cables, then it will not quite be achieved. However, experiment a bit with setting the cable tension tighter or looser, depending on what is comfortable for you when turning the shift grip. And with that, we've replaced the twist grip shifter on the manual Enviolo hub. All the parts you need for that are, of course, available in our shop. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I wish you lots of fun e-biking and see you soon.